Hello, sir. Thank you for agreeing to do this for Doyens of Peace. I actually wanted to ask you, how did this idea of South Asia as a word come about?
Southasia as a word came about after the Second World War and after the partition of India, when there was a need for a new term to denote what you may call the subcontinent, which used to be generally India or British India, but then that name did not work because India took for itself the name India as a nation state. So there is a new need for a term, and it naturally evolved. Some people like to say that Western strategists in the US and elsewhere started with that name. Maybe true, maybe not, but there would have to be a name for this part of the world, and a geographical name is the most neutral. That is how the term South Asia came up, and parallelly Dakshin Asia or Janubi Asia or South Asia in other languages of this region.
Okay. So, but it's usually used as South Asia.
Yeah.
It's a two-word, but it started from Himal South Asia to be used as one
Well,
word.
this is only a suggestion and not compulsory. What the editors of Himal South Asian decided 2 decades ago is that to get a kind of a sense of closeness to the term and ownership to the term South Asia, which is a dry geographical term denoting a direction of a continent. So if you mix the South and Asia together, it becomes original to this region, and secondly, it gives people more of a sense of identity, is what the editors thought. And of course, it's not obligatory, it's just a suggestion.
Okay. Also, you have traveled so much around South Asia, across South Asia. What's the best memory for you, from these travels?
Without doubt, the best memory is to drive and be close to the villages across the landscape of South Asia. So this I've had occasion to enjoy and experience with my family when using a 1973 Volkswagen Beetle. We traveled twice from Kathmandu overland to Dhaka, and once over the Grand Trunk Road from Kathmandu to Lucknow to Agra to Delhi to Amritsar, Lahore, and onward up to the Potohar Plateau to Rawalpindi, Islamabad, ending in Peshawar. And in those journeys, to be close to the people, yet to know that you're part of a historical highway where people moved about, first as nomads, then later as traders, as conquerors, what have you. And so, to me, traveling the roads and trails of South Asia, walking or driving, provide you with the best ground-up experiences.
That's great. Also, what do you think about the cross-border collaborations or dialogues or perceptions? Do you think it has changed over the years, like 30 years ago and now, as you compare?
The partition generation has mostly departed. Those who saw the horrors of partition and also who carried within them the animosities of partition. So, in one sense, we're in a better place to try and build amity in South Asia across borders. On the other hand, the lived experience of being South Asian, of open borders as they were from Kandahar to Chittagong, that doesn't exist. And though the new generations don't know any other South Asia other than the South Asia divided by barbed wire and hard borders, except Nepal, India, which is an open border. So I think we must inculcate the sense of what you are losing economically, culturally, socially, historically, identity-wise. That is the job for people like us.
Okay. With social media, it is expected that South Asian region and people are more connected and brought together. Do you think that has happened?
That's what we hoped would happen, because as we have moved from the era of paper to the digital era, given the ultranationalism that has locked us in, and visa restrictions, the closed borders, the economic restrictions, travel restrictions, etc., we thought the internet would help us connect across borders. To some extent, it is happening. If people are really keen to talk across borders, have a regional conclave, you can. However, the weight, the sheer weight of ultranationalism inculcated in our schools, in our media, in our social media is so heavy that social media is actually more often used in the service of ultranationalism than for regional amity. And so you find the loss of empathy across borders, which we thought would have been eliminated or reduced through social media. I can give you a parallel experience I have as part of the Film Southasia Festival of Documentaries. You know, there are, people say, feature films, Bollywood cinema will bring us together because it has such power. But by and large, cinema is being used for ultranationalistic purposes. So we realize that, and the audience is in cinema, it is not there in documentary. Documentaries are what give sense to the real life aspirations and challenges of people. But even documentaries should right now be watched all over South Asia, on digital platforms, on social media. But that rarely happens because people have this ab initio reluctance to talk over the ideology of the nation state.
Mm-hmm. How do you think we should excite youth to think more about South Asia as a collaborative idea and identity?
It must start with social science and humanities learning. I believe that one reason we haven't been able to overcome the animosities inculcated by individual capitals in South Asia, particularly the northern half of South Asia, is you must keep in mind that the problem child of South Asia is the northern half. This is where animosities of partition happen. This is where the land borders are. This is where states compete with each other. Islamabad, Delhi, Dhaka, Kathmandu. So to make sure that the youngsters, the new generation, can be more empathetic than the previous generation, you must give them information and perspectives. That comes from social science learning. That's why I believe it might sound like an impractical answer, but there's a lot of information out there about South Asian togetherness if people want to look for it. But how do you want to look for it? Because you are given so much of titillating stuff that is based on nationalistic posturing and populism. It is through the core platform should be created through social science. And youngsters, young adults should be brought in and introduced to the excitement of history, of philosophy, of geography, of economics. I think so. That's where we need to draw young adults into.
Okay, that's good. Last question. What's the one word that comes to your mind when you think of South Asia?
South Asia.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.